Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Asian Express by In the Money Stocks. My name is Nick Santiago. I'll be with you each and every week going over the Asian markets right before as they're about to open on Sunday evening. Right now we're looking at the Nikkei 225 index. It looks like the Nikkei is set to open sharply stronger up around the $13,150 level. Right now, the first resistance that we're seeing on the Nikkei 225 index would be around 13,430. So mark that down. That's what you want to watch for at this time. 13,430 will be the first real significant resistance level for the Nikkei 225, which almost hit bear market territory on this past Friday. So again, traders should watch for first resistance around this level, 13,429. Next big resistance level is going to be 13,875. So those are going to be your next big resistance levels. 13,875 will be the next big resistance point. So again, two levels you want to watch for right now. The Nikkei 225 scheduled to open up. It probably starts out and opens up right around higher by about 2%. Right to around the $13,150 level. But either way you slice it or dice it, we're going to look for a move into this first level, which would be around 13,430. Next level would be 13,875 if it can get up there. But again, you did have a big decline last week. Sharp decline. If we take a look at a weekly chart, we'll even see it probably better. You're going to notice that weekly chart came right down into that 20 moving average. That is where support is being held at the moment. So we'll see how this index can play out going forward. But again, I'm not really expecting much more upside than 13,429 than 13,875 respectively. Let's jump over to the Shanghai Index. The Shanghai has not opened up yet for business, but levels that you want to watch for. There's a significant support level on the daily chart, which is going to be this 200-day moving average or just below it. I'm going to say that this has a chance of piercing a little bit lower, but I would tell you 2185 is going to be a very good support level. So let's just punch that area up right there, 2185. That will be a very good support level. Should that level fail or fail to hold, we're going to look down a little bit lower at 2160. But either way you slice it or dice it, it looks like 2185 should be a fair amount of support. That 200 should be very important. You're going to come into a lot of chart support from prior levels. So again, that's what we'll watch for at the moment. We'll see if the Shanghai gets a bounce there, but it has been a very weak index. Should this index go lower, then you're going to look for lower prices in a lot of the commodity related stocks like copper, iron ore pellets. The coal names will also be on the weaker side. They've all been in the toilet stocks like BHP, Rio Tinto, and so forth. Freeport McMoran, Southern Copper Corp, all have been very weak, and it's all because China is really just very weak at the moment. But again, you're going to look for support for a bounce here. How much of a bounce can it get? I'm not 100% sure, but what I would say, if it does go down to that level and bounces around that 2184 area, I would look for an immediate bounce back up to 2200 and then to 2225. Those would be the most likely areas. You're going to see these black lines right here. They'll also be very important. So I'm not 100% sure what kind of a bounce it'll get, but a move back up to these lines here is always very possible, and I would almost expect that on any kind of short-term rally or bounce. Let's take a look here at the Hong Kong markets. Hong Kong has not opened yet either. This has just been pounded into the ground. Right now, Hong Kong is oversold. You're going to notice that it is into a double bottom support level. Should that level fail to hold, let's move over to the weekly chart, and what you'll see is a level right around 21,000. That is the next big level for the Hong Kong market. It's going to be at 21,000. Maybe it pierces below there, but the Hong Kong market should get a bounce at that level. Should that level break next week, I'll show you where it would go. It probably would head down to 18,000. But right now, the Hong Kong market, in my opinion, should hold 21,000 if it does trade down there. And that's only if this level on the daily chart, which is right here at double bottom, which is around 21,450, does not break. So I would expect that level probably to hold up in the near term. You do have a lot of chart support around that area, 21,400, and then really it's down to the 21,000 level 21,000 is also a very, very important and strong support level in my opinion. Now, any bounces that occur in the Hang Seng, which is the Hong Kong market, that is going to be the tough tell to see where this could go. What I would look for initially, should a bounce occur, would be a move right into the 22,000 level. There will be a wall of resistance right at 22,000. So again, any bounce up into 22,000, there will be very, very good resistance. After that, it's 22,275. So keep those levels on the watch list. Those are your near-term bounce levels in the in the Hang Seng. Should the market bounce going forward, here are your two big resistance points going forward. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. Let's jump right into the Sensex Bombay Index. That is India. Right now, what you'll see here is that India has also been very, very weak. This looks like it has some more declines in the cards. You are hitting the 50-day moving average respectively. You have the 200-day moving average, which should be some support. I'm going to say right around this 19,000 level is your best bet for India to see a bounce. Chart bounce should happen right around here. Hard to say if it's going to be 1982, which is the 200-day moving average, or 19,000. Should that level fail to hold and should it break with any real conviction, meaning volume to the downside, this index has a long way to go down. It could easily get to 18,200, but we're not expecting that, at least at the moment. But right now we do expect at least a short-term bounce around the 19,000 level. So that's what I think traders should look for going forward. But again, this index is not showing us all that much strength at the moment, but it may rebound with the U.S. markets and also with the Japanese and maybe some other Asian markets if they can get a bid. But Asia remains pretty weak overall, India as well. Let's take a look at the Kospi. This is Korea. Let's just get that symbol in there. Here we go. Oops. Let's skip over this one. Let's take a look at the Straits Times Index, Singapore. Right now, this is very, very oversold. You're going to see that this here has traded right down into the 200 moving average. 200 moving average is generally going to be a very, very good support level. There's also a lot of support just a little bit lower, right around the 3,162 level. So again, either way, if this does overshoot a little bit, you should have very, very good support there. The next level lower for this is going to be around 3,087. So that would be all the way down to around this area right here. But I do think right in this vicinity, there should be at least a short-term bounce. That could take you right back up to this gap fill around 3,250. That's what I think traders should watch on the STI, which is the Straits Times Index. So again, that's what I think we're looking at least at the moment. So we'll see if that can get a bounce here. I think we're probably due for a short-term bounce. Move back up to the 3,250 level is very, very possible. Let's take a look at Taiwan. And what you're going to see right here is that this is going to have very, very good support, this index, right around the 8,000 level. So, again, hard to see it really get much below there on the daily chart. This is testing the 50 moving average already, but the 8,000 level should be a very, very solid support level, at least for the near term, within the next week or so. After that, then the index is free to move a lot lower. Right now, I'm going to say 8,000 is probably a good level. It may even be just a hair lower than that, but either way you slice it or dice it, I do think the 8,000 area should be very, very strong. Maybe 79, 90, a little overshoot or a little bit of a pierce here is possible. How high can this bounce back up to? Well, right now we're going to look at 8,200. Also 8266, which is the 20-day, and we'll see how it reacts there, and then we'll talk about this next Sunday evening. But right now, I do think that this is what we're looking at least going forward, the 8,000 level on the Taiwan markets. Let's take a look at Australia and the ASX. Right now, what we're looking at right here is a very, very oversold condition. I have a calculation taking this down a little bit lower, down to around the 45.50 level. I think there's excellent support there. Traders can look for a short-term bounce around this level. This 200 moving average may hold up on the daily chart, but either way, if it does not, remember, this is the level you're going to look at, 45.60. That will be a very, very good bounce area for the Australian indices. So again, watch the ASX right around that level, which is 45.50, if this does not hold. It's hard to say if this will hold or not. Right now, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. If the Asian markets can bounce, Asian markets falter, this should get down to here, but this is where traders, I think, can look for a short-term bounce, at least on the daily chart. That bounce will probably last about 3 to 5 days, may even last a couple of weeks if it bounces with any conviction. But that's what we're looking at right now. We'll see how these markets play out, and we'll update you again next Sunday evening. Today is June 9th, 2013, and again, we'll update you next Sunday evening, which will be June 16th. Hope everybody enjoyed the Asian Express. Each and every week we'll be going over these markets. This is something new that we're starting here at In the Money Stocks, and we'll cover these markets each and every week, and we'll look at all the technical levels. With that said, everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you on the charts. Take care now.